When you've been married for more than a decade, birthdays stop being just about cake and balloons. They become opportunities to show your partner how deeply you know them. My name is Jessica Miller, and I live in Austin, Texas, with my husband, Daniel, and our 2 kids. Daniel and I met in college, back when we were still figuring out who we were. He was the kind of guy who loved adventure, who could talk about basketball one minute and then about jazz records the next. I was quieter, more into books and writing, but I loved his energy. Somewhere between road trips, late-night talks, and too many slices of pepperoni pizza, we fell in love. Fast forward 12 years of marriage, a mortgage, 2 kids, and busy jobs, life got comfortable, but also predictable. Daniel was the kind of man who never really asked for much. For his birthdays, he'd usually just want a quiet dinner at his favorite steakhouse and maybe a basketball game on TV. But that year, I wanted to do something special. He had turned 40, and I felt the milestone deserved more than dinner and a card. So, I started planning. The idea. One evening, I was scrolling through social media when I saw a video of a man receiving guitar lessons from a professional musician as a surprise gift from his wife. The smile on his face said everything. That's when the thought struck me, what if I hired a professional for Daniel's birthday? But the question was, a professional in what? Daniel had so many hobbies. He loved basketball, he loved music, and more recently, he'd taken an interest in cooking. He often joked that if he wasn't an accountant, he'd probably be a chef. Every Saturday, he'd experiment with a new recipe, sometimes succeeding, sometimes ending in smoke alarms and pizza delivery. That was it. Cooking. I decided I would hire a professional chef to come to our home and give Daniel a private cooking class on his birthday. Not just a class, but an experience, one where he could create something amazing and enjoy every moment of it. The planning. I began researching local chefs in Austin. After a few calls and reviews, I came across Chef Michael Bennett, a well-known culinary expert who specialized in interactive home dining experiences. He wasn't just a cook, he was a storyteller, the kind of person who brought life and laughter into the kitchen. When I reached out to him and explained what I wanted, he was enthusiastic. "Let's make this a night he'll never forget," he told me. We planned a 4-course Italian-themed cooking lesson. Homemade pasta, a classic chicken parmesan, a fresh salad with a twist, and a chocolate lava cake for dessert. Daniel's favorite cuisine had always been Italian, and I knew this would be perfect. The day arrives. On the morning of Daniel's birthday, I handed him his usual card and small gift, a new set of headphones for his daily jogs. He was thankful and hugged me tightly, probably thinking that was it. But the real surprise was still to come. That evening, after work, I asked him to sit in the living room with the kids while I handled dinner. Normally, he'd peek in and offer to help, but I insisted he wait. At 6 o'clock sharp, the doorbell rang. Standing there was Chef Michael, in his crisp white jacket, carrying bags of fresh ingredients and cooking tools. Daniel's eyes widened. "Jess, what's this?" I smiled. "Happy birthday. Tonight, you're cooking with a professional chef." The cooking adventure. The kitchen quickly filled with energy. Chef Michael set out all the ingredients on the counter, explaining each step as if it were part of a story. Daniel put on an apron, looking both nervous and excited. "I'm not sure I can keep up," he laughed. "You don't need to," Chef Michael said warmly. "You just need to have fun." The first lesson was making fresh pasta. Daniel had always wanted to try, but it seemed intimidating. Together, they cracked eggs, measured flour, and kneaded dough. The kids stood nearby, fascinated, cheering for their dad as he worked the dough like a pro. Next came the chicken parmesan. Daniel carefully dipped the chicken in flour, egg wash, and breadcrumbs while Michael guided him through the timing and seasoning. The smell filled the house, and even the kids grew impatient to taste it. Then came the salad, with Michael teaching him how to make a homemade dressing from scratch. Daniel kept shaking his head, laughing. I had no idea it was this easy. Finally, the lava cakes went into the oven. The kids were jumping with excitement, already planning who would get the first bite. Dinner is served. When everything was ready, we set the dining table with candles and music in the background. Daniel plated the dishes himself, with Chef Michael's guidance, and proudly served the family. The food was incredible, not just delicious, but made with love and laughter. Daniel's face glowed with pride as everyone enjoyed the meal. "I can't believe I cooked all this," he said, looking at the kids who were happily devouring their pasta. "You did amazing," I said, squeezing his hand. The reflection. After dinner, when the kids went to bed, Daniel and I sat on the porch with coffee. He was quiet for a moment, then looked at me. "Jess, this was the best birthday I've ever had. Not because of the food, though it was amazing, but because you really saw me. You knew exactly what would make me happy." That's when I realized, sometimes the best gift isn't something wrapped in paper. It's an experience, a memory, something that says I know you, I see you, and I love you. A new tradition. In the weeks that followed, Daniel kept experimenting in the kitchen, using tips he learned from Chef Michael. He started making pasta on weekends, and even got the kids involved. Cooking became more than just a hobby. It became family time, laughter in the kitchen, and messy counters that told stories of togetherness. The gift I gave Daniel ended up giving back to all of us. Closing thoughts. Looking back, hiring a professional for my husband's birthday wasn't just about teaching him to cook. It was about showing him that even after all these years, I still wanted to surprise him, to celebrate him, and to remind him of how much he means to us. Sometimes love is found in the simplest of places, like flour on your shirt, sauce on your hands, and laughter echoing through the kitchen. And that's how one birthday turned into a lifelong memory.